Guess who? 8.
Maybe it's somebody who's flying back from Brazil right this minute. Chargers, Chiefs, kicking off their respective seasons down in the Southern Hemisphere, where you celebrate, but in the opposite direction.
Correct.
Patrick Mahomes and company. Mahomes is looking for Xavier Worthy. Problem is, Xavier Worthy found the ground. Is X going to give it to him? No, he is out.
Popsicles in the freezer. Imagine being the wedding band at Taylor Swift's wedding. Like, are you serious?
Little bit of pressure here. How about a slap to the face? Tierra Tart mixing it up with Kelsey. Listen, it's better than spitting on a man, I suppose.
Yeah.
No, in the hemisphere, it's gnar, right? That's in Australia. Keenan Allen's back. He's in a Bolts uniform, 7 grabs, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Jim Harbaugh said how great. Circle gets the square. Jim Harbaugh, 6-0 in season openers.
I got some game balls. Justin Herbert. One question for you. Hey, 60 minutes, so we got to be out of here in 60 minutes. So, who's got it better than
All right, this loss snapping a streak of 17 straight wins for the Chiefs in games decided by 1 possession. That was the longest streak in NFL history. But we speak of it in the past tense, even the fact that they had won 7 straight games of those against the Bolts going into last night. Now up next for Kansas City, tidy little Super Bowl rematch at home against the defending champion Philadelphia Phillies. Patrick Mahomes looking back at some of the issues that cost them last night.
They definitely came out with more energy than we did. And so in this league, everybody's too good for you to not match the energy of your opponent. And so I think we learned a valuable lesson today. We got to be better from the get-go, from the start. We're not going to be able to just come back and win every single game. Teams are too good in this league. And so this would be a big lesson for us, a division opponent, someone that's going to be there at the end of the year. But we're going to have to learn fast. We're playing the reigning Super Bowl champs this next week.
2 years ago, the Chiefs lost their season opener. They went on to win the Super Bowl. This is Mike Tannenbaum's time to shine. You have been high on Justin Herbert even before he was drafted. After what you saw from Sao Paulo, is this the year Herbert and the Bolts take the division from the Chiefs?
Gary, I believe so. And
Okay.
let me tell you why. He looked incredibly comfortable. He was in rhythm. He was confident. And when he was getting production, not only from Ladd McConkey and an old veteran in Keenan Allen, he was the best player on the field last night.
Maybe for the first time in a long time, some instability in that the Chiefs aren't runaway favorites to win their own division. I know Harry Douglas is high on the Broncos. Of course, you think it's going to be the Chargers. KC already dealing with injury concerns. Xavier Worthy leaving after just the 3rd offensive snap with that shoulder injury. How concerning is that given the instability in that receiver room already?
Yeah, Gary, very concerning, and you nailed it. When you have multiple players that aren't available, Rashee Rice suspension, Xavier Worthy, who's very talented, who could be out for a while now. We don't know the extent of the injury. Hollywood Brown's the only receiver that really has any explosiveness. Travis Kelce, Smith-Schuster, obviously really dependable veteran players. City. If Worthy misses a lot of time, in addition to Rashee Rice's suspension, I worry about where we're going to get chunk plays in the passing game.
Sure. The Chiefs probably on their flight home right now from Sao Paulo. It does not get easier when they get back stateside. They host the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles next week. Mike Tannenbaum this morning on SportsCenter. Mike T, very much appreciated. Week 1 is here. Jeremy Fowler is here. The question is, will Christian McCaffrey be there for the 49ers on Sunday ahead of the 49ers game against Seattle? What's the latest, J-Bone?
The latest is Christian McCaffrey wants to play on his calf injury. He's feeling fine. He says he's good to go. It's more of an injury prevention thing. However, Kyle Shanahan has not committed to playing McCaffrey. He's listed as questionable, so this could shape up to be one of those game time decisions. Just considering his past, how things went early last season on that calf, they want to take it slowly with him. So he was limited Thursday, and an issue popped up, sort of flared up Friday. He did some stretching, some light running, but ultimately did not practice. And so this is a situation where the 49ers are putting a lot of their hopes on McCaffrey because they love the way he plays. He's going to be great when he's out there, but they don't want to have another setback. So we'll see how it goes. They'll monitor it throughout the weekend. They have Brian Robinson Jr., who they traded for recently. They feel good about. They like their depth, but they want CMC back in.
You give this guy the benefit of the doubt because of who he is, but those injuries amounted to him missing 13 games last season. Lots of injury questions and concerns heading into week 1. How much fun can Micah Parsons get in his Packers debut?
Well, he wants to play, and the Packers want to get him in there. They're trying to be cautious with him because he had that back issue. My sense asking around early in the week is that they were leaning on some sort of pitch count, not throwing him out there for 60 snaps because he's been out throughout the entire preseason. Although I was told when he was in Dallas, he was going through 2-a-days on his own. He was running, he was lifting, he was in all the walkthroughs. So he's been engaged. He's not coming in totally cold. My sense is they'll find a way to get him out there. Myles Garrett, good to go. Had a bit of a hip issue flare-up, some discomfort, missed a practice day, but he is good to go. No injury designation. The Browns feel like that they can try to handle the Bengals a little bit, who are trying to get off to a hot start this year on offense. And then you got Cam Hayward. This one's tricky. It's more of a contract issue, but he is not committed publicly to playing in this game. Got some rest earlier in the practice week. It's a situation where contract negotiations on an extension did not go well last summer. Hayward said, hey, if I make All-Pro in 2024, I'm coming back to you for some extra money. The Steelers have not obliged yet, so they're trying to talk through this and find a solution. Maybe they can add a couple $1 million to his contract. He's due about $13 million this year. Mike Tomlin says he's playing. Cam Hayward has sort of said not so fast.
Okay, 15th season in the league, all 15 with the Steelers. That's Jeremy Fowler with the latest on SportsCenter.
Thank you.
It was shocking to some as Jeremy Fowler joins the program. KC suffering a loss, both in the win-loss column and then a big one offensively. Xavier Worthy leaving on the third offensive play from scrimmage last night with a shoulder injury. When will the Chiefs learn more about the extent of the injury?
It should be sometime today. He's going to get an MRI when he returns to Kansas City with the rest of the team. The problem is Sao Paulo, as you know, is about a 10-hour flight to the Midwest area. After he was questionable, which is usually not a good sign. His body language there is not ideal. So they're hoping for the best. Look, this is a team that for years has tried to get their plan going with their three top receivers, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. They all seem to be hurt at different times.
Yeah, Rashee Rice, of course, with that 6-game suspension. Now up in the air with Xavier Worthy's health. We'll know more when they get back to KC. Another week 1 injury concern. Christian McCaffrey was not on the injured list this week up until late. What's the extent with this calf now that you're hearing?
Yeah, this one's murky. McCaffrey says he's good. He told reporters, hey, I feel great. I want to play. I plan to play. It's entirely not up to him, though. It will be up to Kyle Shanahan, who told reporters yesterday, I'm not getting into it. It's a questionable concern. Something came up during Thursday's practice. So how this went this week was he was a full participant Wednesday, but then limited Thursday. Didn't practice Friday, though. He did some stretching and some running around. So this seems to be shaping up to be one of those game-time decisions, although McCaffrey is pushing to play. But given his injury history, 49ers are trying to be cautious with him.
Yeah, McCaffrey says he's okay. I mean, I can say I'm taller than you. I can say it.
Your personality
doesn't mean it's true. Thursday, the season opener, appreciate that. Jalen Carter kicked out 6 seconds into this game. The Spitsident. What could be the fallout here extensively with Carter?
Well, the fallout could be a fine or a suspension. That's what the league is weighing right now. That's their option as they look at this play under review. So they've got all the angles, the all-22 film. There's not much to see, really. That's the issue. He's the main culprit there, of course. But, Dak Prescott was in the play. They're going to examine his role as well. But, Carter is up for some sort of discipline. The expectation from some people I've asked around the league is that he'll probably get a fine more than a suspension because he really served a suspension last game. He didn't play the entire one. So we'll see. And you saw how important Jalen Carter is. So the Eagles are awaiting word from the league. Nothing has come down yet. They are hopeful that he will be in the lineup next week.
And maybe the in-house talking to weighs even more heavily than what the league can do after you hear Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts talk about the incident. And like I was saying, I can say that I'm taller than Jeremy Fowler, but I'd literally just be lying. He's a beast in the paint. He's also going to be back talking about week 1 injury concerns. Jeremy Fowler, going to see him a little bit.
Injury report season is in full swing. Eves, fully healthy. Micah Parsons, though, questionable for the Packers. He's been limited, and according to head coach Matt LaFleur, he's also looked limited in practice all week with a back injury. The talk is that he will require an injection if he's going to play against the Lions. Clearly TBD, and somewhere David Lloyd is still cackling.
Questionable. That's the official designation for Christian McCaffrey ahead of the Niners season opener against Seattle. A calf issue that popped up during Thursday's workout prevented McCaffrey from practicing Friday. Now, he played just 4 games last year due to tendonitis and then a torn ligament in his right knee. But he says he fully expects to be in uniform Sunday.
Nothing serious, I'll tell you that. Like I said, I feel great about where I'm at. Just unfortunately, when you have an injury history that I have, sometimes when you don't practice, things get, blown out of proportion. But like I said, I feel great. I'm not supposed to go into anything that happened, but as I felt like it was a smart thing to do to not finish the practice, because I've been there before and I've been my own worst enemy in situations like that, and I'm just proud of myself for not doing that again. And, like I said, I went through the whole training and feel great where I'm at.
Also with boo-boos, Christian Gonzalez is going to miss the Patriots opener with a hamstring injury. Darren Waller, Christian Kirk have also already been ruled out. There's good news, though, for the Giants. Malik Neighbors is off the injury report and good to go for Week 1 against the Commanders.
All right, as promised, Damian Woody back here with us on SportsCenter. And even though this is not necessarily good news for Nicole's fantasy team, McCaffrey
this is tragic.
Is listed as questionable. If he's not able to go, Damian, what kind of issues would that present in Week 1 for this offense there in San Francisco?
Yeah, listen, Michael, it'll be a huge blow because we know just how much Christian McCaffrey means to Brock Purdy in that offense. His versatility, not only running the football, but his ability to catch the ball, whether you're lining him up as a wide receiver, catching the ball out of the backfield. He's such a security blanket for Brock Purdy. And listen, this 49ers team is going up against, in my opinion, a very good defensive